Welcome, ZASLOW Show 2.0. It is a Monday, the 26th of February. Good to have you aboard, part of the Believe Podcast Network, and presented as always by Anidjar and Levine, accident attorneys, 800-747-FREE, 800-747-3733. You're involved in any kind of an accident, hit and run, slip and fall, motorcycle accident. You get the compensation you deserve when you go to Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys. 800-747-FREE, 800-747-3733. Got a great show planned today. Happy to have you start the week with us. A little late of a start today because on Mondays, we're on Driving the Line. That's with Jonathan Coachman, Alan Bell. It's your sports betting brand of record. So you guys, you can hang out every Monday. I actually put a link today where it was streaming on my Twitter and on my YouTube. So hopefully a few of you guys, you saw that, you noticed it, and you clicked on it, and there you go. You were able to join me and the guys on Driving the Line. I'm on with them every Monday morning. And of course, Bet Online continues to be your number one source for all your wagering needs. That includes pro hoops and college hoops through the rest of this year with up-to-the-minute odds, stats, and trends. You can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting contests and the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or your mobile devices. Head to BetOnline today to become part of the team. Remember to use promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here. So, hope you had a great weekend. For us, I had a lot of soccer this weekend. My son, obviously, travel soccer player, Weston Select, so we had that going on over the weekend. Had a big pro wrestling weekend. My other son, Jordan, he's been sick the entire weekend, so we were a little bit of a house of disease this weekend. That's never fun, but we made it through, and you're starting the week with us here on ZASLOW Show 2.0. By the way, love all of our sponsors. You got to support the sponsors that support the show. That's how we keep the show going round and round, and we make sure you're never going to have to pay for the show. I'm never, ever, ever going to charge you guys for the show. But the way that we keep the show going is you got to support the sponsors who support the show, and then everybody stays happy, and then everybody keeps this thing rolling, all right? If you're a small business owner, or, you could be a major business owner, whatever, but if you're a business owner and you want to partner up on ZASLOW Show 2.0, I'd love to hear from you. You could always slide into my DMs. Honeys, you could always slide into my DMs, whether it's for business or not. But if you're a business owner, you can always slide into my DMs, or you can hit me up. My email is in my Twitter bio. I'll tell you right now also. Actually, I don't think it's in my Twitter bio anymore, but it's jonathanzaslow@gmail.com. You could always hit me up if you're thinking about partnering up, thinking it may be good for your show. If you want to advertise, I'd love to hear from you, and we can see if it's something that works for both of us. So there you have it. Busy weekend. Saturday morning, my younger son, Jordan. Now, I wasn't sure if I was going to wake up. WWE Elimination Chamber was in Australia this weekend. So because of the time difference, 5 a.m. Eastern time. 5 a.m. Eastern time, Saturday morning. I wasn't sure if I was going to wake up. I feel like I was going to wake up around 6-ish, maybe 7. And so I would start it late. My younger son, Jordan, who wasn't feeling well, came into the bedroom 5:30 in the morning. Woke both of us up. We're up. My wife joined me. My wife and I, we went downstairs. We watched Elimination Chamber on Saturday morning. Fantastic show. Yesterday, a brand new edition of It's Still Real to Me. It's under the ZASLOW Show 2.0 banner, so wherever you're getting this podcast right now, or you can go to the YouTube channel as well, youtube.com/@ZASLOWShow. Full recap yesterday afternoon of WWE Elimination Chamber. We are on the road to WrestleMania. And by the way, I don't know if I've mentioned this yet, I'm hosting a WrestleMania show on ESPN. What? That's crazy, right? I'm hosting they asked me, I didn't even come to them. I'm hosting a WrestleMania show on ESPN. So, give you more details when it gets closer, but it's going to be the night of the Final Four because that's night 1 of WrestleMania, and I'm hosting WrestleMania show on ESPN Radio, which is just bananas. I'm super excited. It's a really cool opportunity. And thanks to everybody who hung out on ESPN Radio with me last night. We did game night last night. It was me and Teron Davenport. We had a good show. I was represented last night because I was able to mix in Inter Miami and specifically Messi talk. My man Luis Miguel Echegaray, he joined us on the show last night. We did a little preview as far as Messi, Inter Miami at LA Galaxy last night. We'll get to that. But anyway, we had soccer this weekend. We watched WWE this weekend. We had the Heat from over the weekend. We had the Panthers from over the weekend. It's all happening, all right? And again, appreciate everybody who has hung out with us. I did Amber and Ian hosting with the best girl, Amber Wilson, on Friday night. And of course, I did game night last night. So there's a lot happening. Next up on ESPN Radio for me this week, I'm on Wednesday and Friday doing Amber and Ian, and then we're on the weekend as well. So Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, ESPN Radio. You can hear me with a little bit of a national perspective. All right, we're into the show now. Let's get to what happened last night. So we start off the shows now. Quick recap of some of the things that you may have missed. First of all, as far as the college basketball goes, we're keeping an eye on college basketball now. That's one of the things that, because I'm working at ESPN Radio now, I keep an eye on more things than I used to. I would never be paying attention to college basketball in February, but now we do. St. John's over the weekend, a double-digit victory against number 15 Creighton. That's a big-time upset. And, of course, we had the big story with the storming the court, Wake Forest Duke. We'll get to that coming up. That's its own conversation. As far as the NBA goes, the Bucks yesterday afternoon, they crushed the Sixers, 119-98. That's not the story. The story of the game was, well, the Bucks have now won back-to-back games since the All-Star break. So 5-7 under Doc Rivers. When the Sixers PA was introducing the visiting Milwaukee Bucks, they introduced the head coach before, and the boos rained down on Doc Rivers, which is kind of wild because when's the last time, and I brought this up on I led the show on ESPN Radio with this last night. When's the last time a visiting coach, was booed out the building the way Doc Rivers was at the start of that game? And the only one I could come to mind, in the NFL, they don't really introduce the coaches. They do in hockey. I think they do in Major League Baseball, and certainly they do in the NBA. When's the last time the head coach was booed? And the only one I was able to think of, and we had Israel Gutierrez on ESPN Radio Game Night last night as well, and this is the one he brought up also, Pat Riley, 1995. When the Heat's first trip to Madison Square Garden with Riley, his first time back at the Garden as head coach of the Heat, they booed the hell out of him. And he was hamming it up, he was egging them on, he was blowing kisses, and he regretted it. Like, he was embarrassed of that moment. And they were giving it to him, and rightfully so. I mean, he faxed in the resignation. He up and dipped while they were under contract still. He deserved it. And that's the last time I could remember that happening. And here's the thing. It's not like Doc Rivers quit. So I'm trying to think to myself, why do we think they were actually booing him? And I think there's a couple reasons. The first one is, I think they now know what I've been saying for years, is Doc Rivers sucks as a head coach. And before Joel Embiid got hurt, that Sixer team this year was definitely a contender, and Embiid was having an even better season than he did last year. So I think they realized Nick Nurse so much better than Doc Rivers, that Doc Rivers was actually holding them back the last few years. I think that's part of why they booed him there in Philadelphia. And the second part is, it's like the biggest story in the NBA right now, which is crazy. Doc Rivers and the excuse maker that he is. So I think it's part of that where that's a theme around the league, that Doc Rivers is such a phony. So it's really easy to pile on Doc Rivers, even though it's deserved. So I think those are like the two reasons that they were on him yesterday, but I can't remember that ever happening except for Pat Riley. They booed the hell out of him when he was introduced last night. Also, Phoenix beat the Lakers yesterday, 123-113. I don't trust, if I had to trust one of the teams over the other, I would trust the Lakers. I don't trust the Suns at all. Kevin Durant, it is super unlikely to make the finals when Kevin Durant's your best player. When Kevin Durant has played in the NBA 12 years, outside his time in the Golden State Warriors when he joined the best regular season of all team and a team that was already a champion. And by the way, may not even have been the best player because Steph Curry. When Kevin Durant has been your best player, that's a dozen years outside of Golden State. His team has made the finals one time. One time. So, can Kevin Durant and the Phoenix Suns, can Durant lead the Suns to the NBA Finals? Odds are it's extremely unlikely that a Kevin Durant-led team gets to the NBA Finals. I don't trust the Suns whatsoever. The Lakers, on the other hand, I don't particularly trust the Lakers either. But at least if I got LeBron, I say, okay, LeBron's amazing. I trust him in a big spot. I could go with the Lakers. But here's the thing. In order for the Lakers to even make the playoffs, right now they're the number 9 seed. They would have to, if we go with the seedings right now, they would have to win a play-in game against the Warriors, a do-or-die game, which means what? Right now, Lakers and Warriors, right now, one of them would not make the playoffs. They would be playing each other in the 9-10 play-in matchup. The Lakers would have to win that game and then would have to go on the road to either Sacramento or Dallas and win that game just to get into the playoffs. And then they would face the number 1 or number 2 seed. And potentially in the second round, you'd face the world champion Nuggets. Neither of these teams. The Lakers have no chance. It's too big a mountain to climb. And I absolutely do not trust a Kevin Durant-led team. The Nuggets last night, they beat the Warriors 119-103. Warriors are feeling themselves a little bit. Draymond Green coming out saying how that we could beat anybody. Look, you could beat anybody, but can you beat everybody? There's a major difference there. And when you'd be coming in as the 8th seed in the playoffs, and right now, in order to make the playoffs, the Warriors would have to win at the Lakers and then at either Dallas or Sacramento. And then you'd play the number 1 seed. So Draymond could say, we could beat anybody. It's not a one-off. Can you beat everybody? And the answer to that is a big-time no. I trust the Lakers more than I do the Suns and more than I do the Warriors. And the Nuggets beat up the Warriors last night, 119-103. So Draymond, again, all talk this Draymond Green. He could say how they're a contender, they could beat anybody. Well, the very next game, they played the Nuggets. The Nuggets kicked the shit out of them. The game was in San Francisco. And finally, Inter Miami last night. So I got Inter Miami on the TV here in the ZASLOW Mansion Studios in the master bedroom while I'm doing game night on ESPN Radio. And now I'm watching the game, obviously, while I'm working. I also got the game out with no sound. From what I could tell, Inter Miami got severely outplayed. LA Galaxy looked to be dominating that game. They scored in like the 75th minute, LA Galaxy. They called the goal a goal on the field, and then they reviewed it, and it stood up. For the life of me, I don't know how the play was not offside. It was one of those weird plays where the ball bounced off a defender, and then the 2 offensive players are in front of the last defender. But even before the ball was deflected, the offensive player looked to be past the last defender. I have no idea how it was not offside. The goal stands up. Inter Miami's getting dominated. Then, I didn't even see the play, but someone on LA Galaxy got a red card. And by the way, shout out to Drake Callender. You know, I'm a no-go season ticket holder for Inter Miami. Shout out to Drake Callender, who was phenomenal last night. Because while LA Galaxy was dominating the game, they had some great opportunities where Drake Callender made saves. One shot hit the post. Drake Callender saved a penalty as well. He kept them in the game. And then in stoppage time, in the 93rd minute, Leo Messi, incredible. I think Jordi Alba made the pass back to him. Incredible play from Messi. He ties the game 1-1, and Inter Miami escapes LA with a positive enough result. They get a draw, so now 1-0-1, 4 points to start the season for Inter Miami. But as far as I was able to tell, they got dominated last night. Next up for Inter Miami, I don't think they have a game in the middle of the week. I think their next game is next week, and it's at home against Orlando City. Let me see here. Their next game is, everybody calm down. Let me see. Their next game is Orlando City. Yeah, this Saturday afternoon at 4:30. And then you got one of the tournaments, which I think it's the CONCACAF Champions Cup. Yep, CONCACAF Champions Cup, where because Inter Miami won the Leagues Cup last year, they start in the round of 16 in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. That first game is next Thursday. So next up for Inter Miami is this weekend. This Saturday, Orlando City at home, looking to stay undefeated in the regular season. And then on Thursday, they start in the Champions Cup, which round of 16 is Thursday. Then they have a regular season game Sunday at home against Montreal. Then if the second leg of the round of 16 would be on Wednesday, and then they're back with another game at DC on Saturday the 16th. And it's really confusing, but this is the whole point where this is an old team. Messi 36, Suarez I think is 35, who it looks like a non-factor so far these couple games, by the way. Jordi Alba I think is 34, Busquets I think is 35. It's going to be really interesting how the coach, Tata, how he winds up managing not just the minutes, but whether or not these guys all play every game, because they want to win these tournaments. And between the tournaments that they're in, you got Olympics coming up at the end of the summer. MLS Cup is super important. That's what's most important to me, because I'm an inaugural season ticket holder for Miami. So MLS Cup is most important to me. These MLS regular season games are most important to me. How they're going to handle this moving forward, this is a lot on this team's plate. But overall, this is a good start to what should be a super exciting season for Inter Miami. So, really good job there, salvaging a point at the end of the game. Inter Miami, Lionel Messi, they get the 1-1 draw at LA Galaxy. Okay, so there you go. And that's a bit of what happened over the weekend and last night. The Florida Panthers. Let's get into the Panthers here. First, though, you know how I was enjoying that game on Saturday, after I got done with game night yesterday. It was midnight when I got off, but got to wind down. Got to crack open an ice cold Johnny Cuba. You know how we do. Johnny Cuba, official beer of ZASLOW Show 2.0. European roots with that Caribbean soul. A refreshing German lager in a can. Pick up a Johnny at your local Sedano's, Presidente, Winn-Dixie, Fresco y Mas. You know that's how we do here. I'm not peddling any beer except for the best. Muy Delicioso. Official beer of ZASLOW Show 2.0. And I love when you guys try a Johnny for the first time. You send me a picture or a video, you crack it open, you got your first pour. No foam, that's amateur hour. And then I post it on Instagram where I'm an influencer, so you become super famous and everybody's happy. Don't forget, always drink responsibly, and don't forget Johnny Cuba's mantra, stay tranquilo. So Saturday night, get home from soccer with my son. They won. They played a game in Lauderhill. They won 5-3. And not that anyone cares. And so we get home. My younger son is sick. He wants to watch the Panthers with me, but not before he finishes watching SpongeBob. So I'm like 90 minutes behind on the Panther game on Saturday night, but that's okay. So the Panthers, coming off a loss, of course, that game at Carolina. I told you, if you didn't know how good the Panthers are and what a 180 this franchise has done over the last few years, you look at that reaction by the Carolina Hurricanes and the Hurricanes fan base when they beat the Panthers the other night. That is your confirmation that this is one of, if not the best team in the National Hockey League. And they're looking to bounce back on Saturday night home ice against Alexander Ovechkin, the Great Eight, and the Washington Capitals. The Panthers, they would go ahead in this game 1-0. The first goal of the game, Nick Cousins. Great redirection, Nick Cousins. They go up 1-0. The Capitals, they would come back. They would take a 2-1 lead early in the third period. And now I'm aggravated. And this was a defensive game. This was the kind of game that the coach, Paul Moore, that's my coach right there. I was on his ass last year as the Murder of Fun. I was dead wrong. I have no problem being wrong about that. I was dead wrong. I'm glad I'm wrong. That's my coach. That's my dog right there, Paul Maurice. This was the type of game that he's prepared this team to play in and win. This defensive type of game that they won on Saturday night against the Capitals. So we're approaching late in the period, and I'm like, they're going to lose this game. They're down 2-1. They're not getting great opportunities. And then, with about 3 minutes to go, the Panthers finally, the Panthers have tied the game.
On tour with 3.5 to go. Here's Carter Verhaeghe. Shoots. He scores! Mr. Third Period does it again. We're even.
That's where you want the third period goal scorer, Carter Verhaeghe. That's what you want right there. Get that puck on his stick, and there was no hesitation.
Now the goal would be credited to the captain, Alexander Barkov. He barely got a piece of it. So Barkov gets the goal. Verhaeghe gets the first assist there. And the Panthers have tied the game at 2. The crowd is way into it. And now the Panthers are buzzing to finish regulation. We go to overtime. NHL overtime is so good. I wish the NBA could do something like this where you go to overtime, it's 5 minutes, you lose all your momentum. 5 minutes is too much time because if the game is tight in the NBA, the last couple minutes are like furious, it's intense. It's a lot different if the game is tight with 2 minutes left or 1 minute left than with 5 minutes left. So you go from the game being super tight, a crazy finish, to now let's put 5 more minutes back on the clock. It should be max 3 minutes, maybe even 2.5 in the NBA. The NHL regular season playoffs are so good because it's 3-on-3, and every time your team has the puck, they're going to get a good chance. You're going to get great opportunities. And with 90 seconds remaining in overtime, we're going back and forth. Now, I do have a few Johnny Cubas in me, all right? So I'm pumped up, and I'm on the edge of the couch. The Panthers, they get the turnover. You'll hear they start the odd man rush 3-on-1. I get up off the couch. I said, Jordan, here we go. Like I said, I had a couple beers in me at that point. I was fired up.
Milano again, stripped away by Sam Bennett. The Panthers try to win it. It's Bennett. It's Forsling. Let's go home, baby! Gus wins it in overtime.
Jump on the Gus bus.
That's right. I jumped up off the couch. I'm fist pumping. I'm yelling in the air. Gustav Forsling, who missed the last game. Tkachuk missed the other night too. Tkachuk is supposed to be back tomorrow night. But Gustav Forsling, who left the game against Carolina after the first period and didn't return, he has had a great year. He gets the game winner. Panthers, their last 2 wins have both been in overtime. Remember, it was Anton Lundell a couple games ago in overtime as well. The Panthers, they get the win. What a finish there in Sunrise. Crowd's going crazy. You heard Goldie there. Let's go home, baby. And Gustav Forsling gets the winner. We're celebrating here on a Saturday night in the ZASLOW Mansion family room. The Panthers are back in action now tomorrow night as they'll take on the Buffalo Sabres.